The time has come. Week number 1, NFL picks. We are going to dive into Hawks pick 6, the lock of the week, my fantasy studs, and my fantasy duds. Welcome back to another episode of Sports Talk with Hawk, everybody. Hope you are having an absolutely beautiful weekend at this point. I'm actually recording this on Friday. We're not going to jump in to what happened in the Chiefs and Ravens game. Actually, while I'm recording this, the Eagles and Packers are playing right now. That will be in the another video. That will be our podcast. That's in the podcast you're going to hear with the that you probably have already heard actually by the time you're listening to this because this is releasing Saturday night. But I wanted to get the picks done on Friday. Recording this right after I got done recording my preview of week number 1. I want to get the picks done because I kind of feel like cheating a little bit when it comes to the picks if I wait till Saturday to pick against the spreads on Saturday. Um, like Friday, end of business day Friday, to me, right now, this is the most legitimate time. Yeah, you can play. I understand FanDuel, DraftKings, whatever, can play up to the end. But this is when I make my picks heading into the weekend. I've got a couple of college picks we're going to do as well. Like I, previewed in the previous podcast with some of the games that we have this weekend. So, without further ado, here we go. We have got we've got an interesting slate of games. Very interesting slate of games. Now, I try to stay away. My goal is to stay away from the 1.5 point games. That's really what my goal is. I don't want to really get into that too much. At that point, you're just playing pick 'em. So let's dive into my week 1 Hawk pick 6 picks for the week. We're going to start with my lock of the week. So this is the extra point here. We're going to start with the extra point. My lock of the week, I said it previously, is the Chicago Bears. I think the Bears opening up Tennessee Titans, new coach, new running back, new system. I don't think the Titans are going to be very good. So, all in all, I believe the Bears have the advantage regardless of anything else. Like, I believe they have the legitimate advantage. So, I'm going to go, my lock of the week is the Chicago Bears over the Tennessee Titans. That is my lock pick of the week. Right now, it's at about 4.5. I'm saying over. I think the Bears win and win handily. I think the defense honestly dominates. Like I said, I believe Caleb Williams is able to show flashes, but nobody gets too overly excited that knows football because they're going to be like, there wasn't much of a fight. I really don't think the Titans have much of a fight. So that is my lock of the week. That's my extra point of the week. Now let's go to the Hawks. Pick 6. Here we go. Week 1 in the NFL. Pick number 1. I'm going to go Atlanta Falcons over the Pittsburgh Steelers. Atlanta Falcons over the Pittsburgh Steelers. Right now, the points are right now sitting at about 3.5. Falcons are favored. I think they cover. I really do. I think they cover. I think they win and they cover. They need a good start. I said this earlier this week. They are one of the 4 teams that have to start strong. The hype has to be there. The only thing new, and I understand they're big pieces, but the only thing that's new is the coach and the quarterback. and they're better. They're an upgrade over what they had. So they need to come out at home against a Pittsburgh Steelers team that, let's be honest, the offseason has been outrageously noisy. Really not a normal Pittsburgh Steeler offseason. And I don't see them starting out like, from my predictions, as you know, I don't see them winning much. So I'm going to go Atlanta Falcons, 3.5-point favorites, take the over. Atlanta Falcons get the W. The next game we're going to pick, believe it or not, the next game we are going to pick is the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Miami Dolphins. And Jacksonville just basically takes a bus trip south to Miami. It's not a true road game. I believe Jacksonville opens the year with a W over the Miami Dolphins. I do not have faith in the Dolphins defense. I do have faith in Jacksonville's physicality, the toughness. Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, we'll find out how they all end up playing out. Tua isn't, he's a fair weather quarterback, so it's his time to shine now. But I think Jacksonville's just too tough. I think Doug Peterson understands they have to beat a potential playoff team. I have the Dolphins going 8-9, but they have to beat a potential playoff team. And opening up on the road, short little bus trip from Jacksonville to Miami doesn't faze the Jaguars at all. They can get down there, leave at 7 a.m., get down there, and they're just fine. Honestly, I'm taking Jacksonville. Right now, they're 3.5-point underdogs. I could see this being a field goal game. I really could. But I'm taking Jacksonville. I'm taking the underdog. So I'm taking Jacksonville over Miami as the second pick of the weekend. All right, the third pick. Some may call this cheating, but I'm going to bet the Panthers and Saints. I am. I've gone back and forth on this game because I like the opportunity Dave Canales has with the Panthers. I like the money they've spent on the offensive line. They definitely overpaid, don't get me wrong. They really overpaid, but they've got an offensive line. Jonathan Brooks, when he's healthy, will be a really good running back for them. The receiver core, Xavier Legette, Thielen, Johnson. Okay, it's formidable. Here's the problem. Week 1 in New Orleans. This is the only reason I gave the Saints 2 wins. I think it's week 1, and I think it's like week 12 that I originally gave them the other W. I'm going to give the Saints the win at home. They're favored by 3.5. I think it's a field goal game. I think it's a fun game to watch. If you're a Panther fan, you're looking for improvement. If you're a Saints fan, you may walk away from this game going, I hope we improve. Because that's not what I'm expecting to see this year. I'm expecting them to be basically awful. I think it's the one win they need, and it's Dennis Allen's only win. I don't think he gets a second win. So I'm going to go Saints to win, but not to cover as my third pick this week. All right. I got to pick this game because I've been high on this team all off season. So the Broncos are 5.5-point underdogs in Seattle. I don't think so. Denver's defense scares a lot of people, and I understand that, but Seattle's offense to me is really not that strong. So this weekend, I'm going to go Seattle to win, but not to cover. 28-24, 27-24, even a 24-20 type game I could see playing out. 5.5 to me is too high. I don't like that point. Take the under. I like the Broncos sitting there at 5.5 point underdogs, but I do think the Seahawks will pull out the W. First game for Knicks. Denver's defense is questionable. I think Surtain shuts down Metcalf. McDonald, first game as a coach for the Seahawks. I think he runs the ball a lot more. He relies on the run, play action. I don't think it's high scoring. Like I said, 24-20 probably. But I'm going to take the Seahawks over the Broncos, even though I love the Broncos and I want to pick them to pull the upset. I really want to pick them to pull the upset. But on the road, 12th man, first career start. Let me give Knicks a game. Let him get home. He'll win his home opener. All right, so there's 4. Then we got 5 and 6. So pick number 5. I said I'm going to try to stay away from the low ones. So, but here's one I can't. I gotta pick the 2 big games. So the Sunday night football game with the Lions and the Rams. You all know I love the Rams. I love what they are. I love what they're going to be. I think they're going to be the number 1 team in the NFC by the end of the season. Perfect game to lose, week number 1. On the road, in Detroit. Detroit needs to win this game. They need to show they are legitimate. They beat this team the last time they played them at home in the playoffs. They need to do it again. Opening week, Sunday night football, the crowd's going to be rocking. I think Detroit controls the line of scrimmage a little bit better. Just a little bit. I think they control the line of scrimmage a little bit better. Young guys on the Rams, still going to work into stuff. The game's at 3.5 points. I think it's a field goal. 23-20. Detroit, I don't think it's 3.5. If it is, it'll be 24-20. I think you've got really good defensive play on both sides as far as the physicality, the defensive line for Detroit, and the defensive line for the Rams. But I'm going to give the home field edge. 3.5, though. I'm not taking that 4th point. Probably going to be wrong, but you know what? Lions get the W. That's my main pick. So Lions over the Rams. All right. I got you. There's always an upset. There is always an upset. And I was thinking this week, coming into this, what would the upset be? Jacksonville is a 3.5 point underdog to Miami. They could be the upset. They really could. They could be the upset. Absolutely. But I started looking at the other one and wondering maybe New York Jets could pull off a week 1 upset of the 49ers. Can they? Can they pull off an upset of the 49ers? They are 4.5 point underdogs on Monday Night Football. Now, if I pick the Jets and they lose, and honestly, it won't shock me. It really won't. But I think the noisy offseason with the Jets, Hassan Reddick not being signed to me is kind of, that's actually what I'm going to base this off of. I'm going to pick the Niners to win. If Hassan Reddick was playing for the Jets, I'd pick the Jets. I believe it matters that much. That defense can play with the Niners, but I think the lack of a pass rush or the edge rush late in the game will hurt the Jets just enough that the Niners win. But I don't think they win by 5. They may win by 4. They may win by 4. But I don't think they win by 5. So I'm going to pick the Niners to win, but not to cover. Not to cover. Now I know you're probably wondering, okay, so what are we basing this off of? Hawks pick 6, what are we basing this off of? Well, the over-unders is for gambling, of which I don't do. So since I don't do that, that's not what it's going to be. It's legitimately my pick 6, picking the teams to win. But the over-unders kind of give you an idea of where my thought process is on the games. It helps you understand my pick a little bit more. It's easy to go down a list and just go, they're going to win, they're going to win, they're going to win, they're going to win. But if you're playing it from the angle of over-unders versus Vegas, picking that way, it makes you actually think about the game a little bit more in depth. So this week I've got the Niners winning, I've got the Lions winning, Seahawks winning, I've got the Saints, the Jacksonville Jaguars, and the Atlanta Falcons. That's my Hawk pick 6. Then I've got the lock of the week being the Chicago Bears for the extra point. Now, you may be wondering, hold it, if you're going to pick all these games, and if we have a full slate of games, it's 16 games a week. When we've got 6 teams off, then there's only 13. There will be times where I do end up picking games that are only 2.5 point, spreads, 1.5 point spreads. It's going to happen. It will happen. But I tried to avoid those as much as possible. Week 1 always has closer spreads because nobody knows what to expect from the teams. Home teams automatically get, I believe, right now it's still 3 points just for being the home team. So, I think that needs to be taken down to 2. But nonetheless, right now they still get 3 just for being the home team. So, we'll see what happens. My underdog pick of the week as far as the spread is concerned, I'm taking Jacksonville over Miami. I believe the Jaguars are tougher. I believe Eric Armstead being on that defensive line. If Miami can only throw the football, you can stop Miami. You can stop Tua. You play a zone over to Tyreek's side. You tackle well. You can stop him. If you're going to miss tackles or if you're just going to let him run seam routes, then yeah, you're going to get beat. But I think Jacksonville will be ready to play on Sunday. All right, let's do my college football picks for the weekend. So the big game is going to be Texas and Michigan. That's the big one. Texas versus Michigan. Right now, Texas is a 7.5 point favorite. It doesn't really matter to me favorites when it comes to college because I love good college games. I'm going Texas to go to the Big House and win in Michigan. They have to, as far as I'm concerned. They've got to if they want to have any credibility. They really need to win in Ann Arbor. So I am going to go a big win for Texas on the road in Michigan. That's one of my three picks for the college football weekend. The other one, we're going to go to the Cy-Hawk Trophy between Iowa State Cyclones and the Iowa Hawkeyes. Iowa's at home. We're going to go with Iowa. Because of the home field advantage, the Cy-Hawk Trophy goes to Iowa. The Hawkeyes get it. I like the way the Hawkeyes are going to look coming into this week. Everybody will be back fully healthy, ready to play after the in-house suspensions, whatnot. Everybody will be ready to go, and I believe it will be a very, very good game. But Iowa pulls out the W at the end. And for the third pick this weekend, another top 25 matchup. Tennessee at NC State, SEC versus ACC. I love Tennessee. I love what Josh Heupel has done down in Tennessee. I believe his recruiting has definitely shown he's a coach to be reckoned with in the future. So I'm going to go with Tennessee getting the win. So my college picks are Texas over Michigan, Iowa over Iowa State, and then Tennessee over NC State. All right. Last thing. Give you 3 fantasy studs and give you 3 fantasy duds. Not going to lie. I like a couple different guys this week. I really do. The stud this week, really and truly, Joe Burrow at quarterback. I think he's going to be the number one quarterback in points against the New England defense. New coach, new system. They got rid of Judon. I think it'll be a rocky first year for Gerard Mayo. Cincinnati wants to come out strong. I don't believe they're going to have a running game. I don't like Zach Moss for their running back. Chase Brown is actually predicted right now to potentially get more of the carries, which, okay, whatever. But I think it's going to be a big pass-reliant offense. So I'm going to go Joe Burrow as a stud against New England. That's going to be my first stud. And then I'm going to go with a dud at quarterback. This week, I hate to say it, because I think the game's going to be a really good game. I hate to say it, but I think Jared Goff is a dud this week. I think the ground game dominates. I think if he does get anything, it'll be maybe 225 and a touch. Maybe. This could be a game where he doesn't get a touchdown throw. Montgomery and Gibbs absolutely could dominate. Absolutely could dominate this week. So as far as a quarterback dud, I'm going to go Jared Goff. So the stud is Joe Burrow. The dud is Jared Goff. All right, moving on to running back. Running back is a really hard position. A couple of us were talking this week, as all the fantasy drafts that I did for Dynasty and everything, etc., were last weekend. And we were talking about running backs. It's a hard position to actually have nailed down. It really is. So my stud for the week is actually going to be Bijan Robinson. I believe with the way that the Falcons are going to want to play action will be a big part of it. And I believe a screen pass with Kirk Cousins, swing passes, dump off passes with Kirk, That will be the way to go. In a PPR league, Bijan Robinson will be really, really good. The dud, I'm going to stay in the same game. I think it's Najee Harris. Unfortunately, I think he may be a dud a lot this year. He does, I mean, he's still the starter. Jaylen Warren may not be playing week number 1, so he's going to get the bulk of the carries. But I don't see this Pittsburgh team moving the ball very often. I don't see it. I wish that wasn't the case for Steeler fans, but I don't see it. I don't. So, stud running back Bijan Robinson, dud Najee Harris. All right, receiver. Let's go receiver, and this will be the last one. I'll give you 3 studs and duds a week. Every once in a while, I may throw a tight end in there. But we're going to go receiver, tight end. We're going to group them together. They're the pass catchers. So, receiver, tight end. Who is a receiver that I think is going to have an absolutely amazing week? To be honest, when you look at all the games and you go, who's going to have a receiver pop up from anywhere? Who's going to have a receiver that could have the biggest game? I'm actually going to go, and some may think that it's slightly cheating. I think Justin Jefferson against the New York Giants, I really think that that's actually a great matchup for him. The Vikings, and I didn't pick this game because the spread is so low. I believe that that's going to be a very good game for Justin Jefferson. I don't think Darnold's going to have a ton of options because there's no Hawkinson. So it's basically Addison, Jefferson, and then Aaron Jones out of the backfield. So my stud's actually going to be Justin Jefferson this week. I believe he's got a big week coming up for him. My dud is going to be Amari Cooper for the Cleveland Browns. I think Dallas Cowboys defense shuts him down, but doesn't shut the Browns down. I think Jerry Jeudy could have a better week than Amari Cooper as they switch off on who they cover. They know Amari Cooper can beat them. I don't think they'll let them. I think he may go for, maybe 52 yards, but honestly, that's not what you're looking for from your receiver. You're looking for from a receiver like that, you're looking for, 85, 100 yards and a touchdown from a guy that gets drafted in most fantasy leagues where he does. So I think the dud is Amari Cooper. He may not even crest 40 yards. I think the stud is Justin Jefferson because it has a very good chance of him getting 2 touchdowns and well over 100 yards receiving. There we go, guys. That's it. The first pick podcast is officially in the books. For all of you all, it is either Sunday morning or late Saturday night that you're watching this or listening to this. I myself am probably finishing up watching college football from an exciting day, I hope. And this is it. So until Tuesday night, because I will record the final week episode, my recap episode, on Monday. And it will release Tuesday night. Next week, we have a full Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday with the pick video or a pick podcast as well. So we got 5 podcast episodes from here on out, excluding holidays. Because when I'm on holidays, hey, I'm off of everything. So, but guys, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Drop what you think is going to happen. Pick against me. You've got the screen. You got the screenshots. Everything's there. I'm picking these games. Drop a comment down. What do you think? Think I'm going to go 6-0 with my picks? Think my lock's going to stay in there and work? You think it's going to be a dud? Who are your fantasy studs and duds? Tell me in the comments. Love to be able to chat with you. Have an absolutely fantastic day number 1, week number 1 of NFL football. Full Sunday slate of games. May your odds for your team be ever in your favor. And for Sports Talk with Hawk, I'm Hawk, and until Tuesday night, I'm out.